Hello, welcome to the Analysis Show. Another bonkers, amazing weekend in the Premier League. We've all enjoyed it, so have you around the world.
Henderson out by Mina, smashed back by Salah, 100 on Derby Day.
Ooh, baby.
Dean. Calvert-Lewin! The big boy comes up trumps again.
Timo Werner here, makes the space, and pulls the trigger, and scores the goal! It's come out to Theo Walcott, oh, it's in! Foden, good save, Sterling on the follow-up scores!
Very promising move this from Manchester United. Rashford back to Bruno Fernandes! And that is an absolutely glorious goal from Manchester United.
Villa pressing for a winner. Barkley to have a go and win it for Villa.
Here's Kane. It's Harry Kane, 2-0 Tottenham. He thrashed that in like he meant it. And Reguilon and Kane. Kane again and again. Taken away by Wiggs. Lanzini! Oh, it's glorious!
Another incredible weekend in the Premier League. It all got underway with that 2-2 draw in the Merseyside derby, Everton against Liverpool. Man United had a great comeback victory against Newcastle United, winning 4-1. Is their season up and running now? Sunday was dominated really by that game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs, quick-fire 3-goal start. West Ham coming back very late to get a point. And on Monday, well, we have seen it all now in the Premier League. We've seen a 0-0 draw. West Brom against Burnley. What does that mean for the table? Well, Everton still lead the way on 13 points, but Aston Villa hot on their heels with a game in hand, the only 100% record in the Premier League. At the bottom, there's no one without a point. That draw between Sheffield United and Fulham means they're both off and running, and Burnley against West Brom, also a draw, means Burnley have got their first point of the season. Delighted to say I've got Tim Sherwood alongside me in the studio. Tim, I mean, where do we start? Probably the game on Sunday, really. Spurs against West Ham. Try and explain that.
Unbelievable. 82 minutes on the clock, 3-0 up, dominating the game. Yeah, West Ham were better in the second half, started putting a little bit more pressure on, more aggressive with their pressing. And then they get the first Buena header. Everyone, they celebrated as if it was a consolation goal. Sanchez own goal, all of a sudden they smell it, and to get that Lanzini finish in the dying minutes for the last kick of the game almost. Incredible. But yeah. Are we surprised? No, this is the Premier League.
Yeah, it's the best. You covered Chelsea against Southampton on Saturday, and again, a late equaliser for Southampton. Chelsea can't keep a clean sheet, can they?
No. Can't buy a clean sheet. Good news for the Chelsea fans. Kai Havertz gets his first Premier League goal and Timo Werner gets a double, and he looked genuinely world-class.
Man United, are they off and running now?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I was delighted for Harry Maguire, you know, for him to score, you know, getting back in the game after a very disappointing week for him internationally and on the domestic front. So, yeah, hopefully for Man United fans, they're back.
OK, let's have a look at the stats then from match week 5. 28 goals, another 28 goals, Tim. It's pretty frightening. I think the one stat there that jumps out at me is the home wins. Just one home win this weekend.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we keep saying it's about the crowds. It has to be. There's no home fans in there, almost levels the playing field. I think we're going to have this madness of unpredictability for the rest of the season now. And that is why the league is so wide open. We've had that sad news this week of Virgil van Dijk getting the injury. He'll be out for a period of time now. So I really believe it might be a year for someone to come out of the pack and win the Premier League.
Do you?
Yeah.
Who's going to do that then?
Man City.
I wouldn't say that was the pack. What about Aston Villa?
It could be Everton, couldn't it? It could be Villa. I mean, Leicester done it. Why couldn't it be? I'm not putting my money there, but Tottenham, you know, it's for someone else to come out. I think Man City now, with the news of Virgil van Dijk being injured, I think it's a huge blow.
What, the good news? You think that one injury tips it in the balance of City?
Yeah, the only good news I've seen on the horizon for Liverpool is that Alisson's back in training. So he's not going to be out for the 6 weeks we thought he was. I think he might be a couple of weeks away.
Well, it's a fantastic weekend, wasn't it, in the Premier League? And this is what we've got coming up on our show. We have to start at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where West Ham and Manuel Lanzini left it late to pick up a point against Spurs. We'll also look at the master against the apprentice. Pep against Arteta, and Pep came out on top. And we'll also analyse Ross Barkley's performances. Struggling at Chelsea, but look what he's doing for Aston Villa. 4 wins from 4. We'll analyse Aston Villa later in the show. And as always, Leroy Rossignol is upstairs. Leroy, who are you looking forward to hearing from this week?
I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody, Matt. But thank you for stealing my touchscreen first and foremost. You've taken that, thank. Tim pulled rank on that one. But look, get in touch. Remember, use the hashtag PLFans with all your questions about an amazing weekend of football. And you know, one of the stats that stood out for me, Matt, was 57 successful crosses. That's the second most this season. And you know what? I think Tim will vouch for me. As a centre forward, you see crosses go across the box, and sometimes they go flying across the box, and people say, oh, what a great cross. But it's not a great cross because Usain Bolt couldn't have caught up with it. But the quality of crosses this weekend has been absolutely outstanding. And I've got some examples of it here, fellas, because, you know, as a centre forward, Mitrovic should score. This one is a great example. Digne down that left-hand side. Look at Calvert-Lewin. He's got all that ground to make up. But when he gets there, he's still got to make the jump. But it's because Digne has left the pace of the pass absolutely perfectly. This is Koufal in the wide area, and this is a bugbear of mine. Too often, they want to play it first time and put it across the box, but he takes that touch into the space, and it changes the picture. Yeah, Davinson Sanchez heads it in, but look at Bowen at the far post. He would have put it in anyway if Sanchez hadn't done that. And this is an example from last night's game. This is Costa. Again, in the same position. He's onside. This time, he's got the space to go into. If he takes the touch into the box, it means he can pick out one of 4 Leeds players. He doesn't. He takes the cross, and it's cleared by Cody at the near post. Some examples of some really good crosses there. Just at the end there, Costa not taking the touch and changing the pitch. And Man City do it perfectly, Tim. When they get in that situation, they take it into the 6-yard box.
They do that a lot, don't they, Tim?
They
City.
do. I mean, the best one of all is the Reguilón one. I think we've left that so we can see it a bit later. He comes onto it, he stands it up for Harry Kane, and as soon as it leaves his foot,
yeah,
he can't hide his excitement, Harry Kane. He knows he scored a goal. Just has to let it hit him on the head, send it back the way it's coming from. Yeah. You think game over.
But absolutely, Tim. But the point is, you know, you see people just flash it across the box. It's not a great, you're just going by luck. But when people just leave it in there, even if the centre forward doesn't win that header, what happens is, because there's no pace on the ball, the centre-halves then nod it down. They can't get any pace on the ball. And people like you, midfield players, come on and then get your goals as well. So the pace of the cross is so important.
Yeah, and we saw one of those crosses there, fantastic goal, wasn't it, from Everton. Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the far post. No Virgil van Dijk because of his injury. Now, I'm not saying he would have stopped it, but it would have helped having Virgil van Dijk in there, wouldn't it?
Big help, yeah. I mean, he's obviously been a problem when they couldn't win trophies, when they were the nearly men. Then they get Virgil van Dijk, they get Alisson, they win the Champions League, they go on to win the Premier League after such a long period. Now, he was massive for them. And to lose him out of them, you're absolutely right. I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been scoring goals all season.
And he's brilliant in the air as well.
And he's fantastic, and that's how he wants his delivery. It's almost like, actually, they're communicating with each other. He's speaking to the wide boys, and I know it sounds strange, and it should happen. It happened in my day, but I think they don't talk now. I've been in them dressing rooms, and it's so quiet. But I would say to the wide guy, this is how I like my crosses delivered. Please give me this way. If you do, I will score the goals and we'll win the game. Yeah. Makes sense, doesn't it?
It does make fair sense, yeah. I mean, no surprise, really, that the stats with and without Virgil van Dijk are pretty weighted in the fact that they're better with him than without him. This is Liverpool's Premier League record under Jurgen Klopp, and this is with Virgil van Dijk, 95 games, 92 without him. But look at the points per game. Look how much it's risen with Virgil van Dijk in the team. 2.4 points to 1.9. Goals conceded, much lower, 78 to 110. I mean, the difference, clean sheets, 44 and 30. The difference with and without him is huge.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only what he gives you as a player, it's how he helps out the person who's playing next to him. Because there's always question marks, wasn't there? We asked question marks about Lovren. When he played with Lovren, all of a sudden Lovren looked like a player. We weren't sure about Gomez. When he's played with Gomez, he makes him better. I think he makes the whole back four better. and the goalkeeper behind obviously helps as well.
I was hoping it wasn't going to
Yeah,
be
me
a
too.
serious one. It looked like he might be okay, but
Yeah.
it looks like a bad one. He could be out for the season.
Yeah, well, that's going to obviously a huge miss for Virgil himself, but for Liverpool fans and the Liverpool Football Club themselves. But they've got a very good manager.
Yeah.
They need to find a solution.
Absolutely. Without him, though, they did draw. Well, he started the game, of course, but they conceded 2 goals at Everton. Could he have done anything about the goals that they conceded?
Yeah. Well, in hindsight, you'd say yes. I mean, he's 6'5", he stands in there, heads most of the
Well, you
stuff
say he
that comes
stands in
from
there.
the
Where would he be?
I think he'd be right where the big guys are in around this area here. I think he'd stand there where he thinks their danger's going to be. It's an in-swinging corner.
So he put probably where Matip is.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because he would have identified who's taking it, Matt. I mean, it's James Rodriguez. He knows that's coming in towards Adrian, into that area. So he would have situated himself where the ball is going to arrive.
We'll talk about defending corners a little bit later in the show, but no Liverpool player around the goalkeeper here, nobody on the post. But the ball comes in, and it is a good delivery. It's right on the money. Michael Keane gets on the end of it. He jumps above Fabinho and Firmino. Now, this one here, I think actually this one, there's a good chance Virgil van Dijk does something about this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how good he is in the air, Joe Gomez. Backtracking, he's never really aware of where Dominic Calvert-Lewin is. If you just watch his position, we'll play it on slowly. He's never seen him,
Yeah.
and he doesn't even jump. Doesn't even get off the floor.
Yeah. Robertson doesn't cover himself in glory either. I think the problem is if you just go back a wee bit.
Take it back.
Matt, you look at Gomez. I think it's right to highlight his body position.
Well, he never sees him, does he?
It's all wrong. Yeah, it's all wrong. I mean, it's easier. I can't change his body position on here, but if we see squared off to the ball, he can't see anyone. If you just stop it there.
And he's almost stood still now as
There
well.
we go. There he is there, but he's square. He needs to open up his shoulders so he can see the ball coming in from that area, and he can also see Calvert-Lewin. He can do something about it. He needs to get his arm up into Calvert-Lewin's face and try and do something about it, but he doesn't. He makes it too easy. But Robertson...
And not helped either, is he, by
Robertson, yeah. He's so weak. So weak with the situation. There.
It's a
Got to
fabulous
do
header,
better.
isn't it, from Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
Great header. Don't take nothing away from the header. Great delivery, as Leroy has highlighted already. He's just a fantastic leap and a great header.
How do you anticipate... I'll just go to the results, sorry. Or get the game up against Everton. How do you anticipate Liverpool changing then?
But they've got...
Without Van Dijk, what do you expect them to do?
Well, I don't see any of the young boys coming in. They've got a few options, young kids who they might go. They won't do that. Well, they'll go with Fabinho at the back there.
Is that what you think they'll do?
I go with Fabinho or
Let's take
or Gomez in there.
Let's take Van Dijk out the
Yeah.
team, okay? Gomez in?
Yeah.
Yes? Or are we going to see Gomez and Matip, or Gomez or Matip?
Well, this is the options. He's got Gomez on Matic, or Fabinho or Matic, or Fabinho and Gomez.
You're Jurgen Klopp.
If I'm Jurgen Klopp, I'm putting Fabinho back there.
I am as well.
I think he's more of the thinker of the game. I think he reads it better. I think he's a better communicator. He's got a calming influence. And I think they will go with a double block in front. They're going to have to adjust the midfield area. So it'll be Henderson and Wijnaldum in front.
Well, my argument to that is why one injury, you're going to change your whole philosophy. So Jurgen Klopp, since he's been at the club, has gone 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Yeah? Why change to a 4-2?
Because they never won anything without Virgil van Dijk.
Well, I get that.
And I think he needs to change.
Do you not think he'd do this? Does that not make more sense?
Possibly. I mean, everyone wants to. If I've got.
He's still then got the defensive mind of Henderson there, hasn't he?
I mean, if you've got Thiago in your squad, you want to play him. I would want to play him every minute. I think the guy is a little genius, but he's not going to give you nothing defensively. He's going to help you keep the ball, so you haven't got to defend. So he's got to weigh up his options. I think he's, first and foremost, he's got to find the best partnership. It's not necessarily who the best defenders are between Fabinho and Gomez and Matip. It's who plays the best together. So what you do during the week as a manager, when you're having the short-sided games, when you're doing your team pattern, you play them. You keep changing the bibs, change over. Now you two have a go together. And you see who works the best together. It's not necessarily who's the best individual players.
I think I'm right in saying Gomez and Matip haven't started a Premier League game together.
Yeah.
at centre-back. There must be a reason for that. Is it the communication? Is it
Possibly.
the talking?
Well,
maybe. Because
only
I think that's what he brings. You know, obviously, Van Dijk does when he plays. He's a talker. He's an organiser. He pulls people into position. I think Fabinho probably offers that a bit more as well.
Yeah, I think a massive help would be if Alisson comes back. I think that's crucial to the operation there. I think that Adrian at the moment is a worry, and now Van Dijk out as well is a double whammy. I think when Alisson comes back, hopefully it'll be a week or two because he's back into training, so it's not as long as we first thought. Then Jurgen's seeing these guys every single day on the training field. I think you're right. I think it'll be he's got so many midfield options. He can go Fabinho back in because he really does trust him.
Is Van Dijk the most important player in that Liverpool team, do you think?
Yeah. I think he was...
So his loss is the biggest. If they were to lose Salah, for instance, they're losing 20-plus goals. If they lose Mane, they're losing 20-plus goals. Yeah. If they lose Van Dijk, what exactly are they losing?
They're missing a leader, but they're missing the problem. I think that they identified Michael Edwards, who's the best sporting director in the game at the moment. You've seen that with the recruitment, what he's done. They haven't got a scattergun approach there at Liverpool. They identify problems and they go and fix it. And that's what he did with the goalkeeper, Alisson, and with the centre-back in Van Dijk. They pushed the boat out. They went, that's our man. We need to get him. I don't care what it costs. And they got him. And he fixed all their problems very, very quickly. They won 2 trophies.
Yeah. So Liverpool now second favourites in your eyes, do you think, to City?
I think this is a huge blow. I think they can get over him. I think the manager's a very creative manager, and I think he can find a way. Let's face it, the majority of the games they play, they don't have to do too many defending. Yeah. So it depends how the fixtures fall. But if he's out for a season, then they're going to miss him. And I give advantage to Man City.
Absolutely, they're going to miss him. Let's go upstairs to Leroy. Are the Liverpool fans getting in touch, Leroy?
Well, they certainly are, Matt. And I've got this question from Ismail regarding Van Dijk. He says, what should Liverpool do now about their high line? It seems to be a part of the new pressing football under Klopp. Tim, what should they do without Van Dijk? Should they keep playing that high line?
Yeah, I think they keep the same line. I don't think the line changes because I think Fabinho is a very good runner as well. He reads the situations, he gets on his bike, and he's not bad pace-wise. I think he can cope. Gomez, we know, is quick. Matip is not so quick.
Do you think then these two won't go as far forward? No. Robertson and Alexander-Arnold.
That is another solution, what he could do. He could keep them tucked in. Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, he can keep them tucked in and secure the defence a lot more. He's not going to do that because they provide so much ammunition for the front three. So he cannot take it away. Like you're saying, one position, you can't change your whole philosophy. No. I think he can tweak it. The only way I see him tweaking it is the midfield. I think he'd go with a double pivot in front. Wijnaldum, Henderson in front, and maybe Thiago as a 10.
OK. Anything else, Leroy?
Yeah, well, I've got an example, guys, of why keepers shouldn't dribble. Do you know when they want to come out and play in training, they should not dribble. And there's a picture here of Caoimhín Kelleher, the substitute goalkeeper at the weekend. Here's a picture. Fast asleep, dribbling. It should never be allowed. Why is he? Is that what number 2 keepers do? Because they don't expect to get on nowadays? Because they usually sat on the bench? Well, this is Liverpool, the 2-1 up. Last 15 minutes, he should be getting ready to come on. He is fast asleep. Sleeping Beauty. Caoimhín, make yourself ready.
You ever been asleep on the bench, Tim?
Never been on a bench.
That's a lie.
Very good answer. Let's get to the action. The game of the weekend, it has to be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
The international hiatus fell at a point of maddening inconvenience. Tottenham and West Ham were rolling. Big results, eye-catching performances. Can they pick it up again? Great ball from Kane for Son, who scores 45 seconds. Here's Kane. It's Harry Kane, 2-0 Tottenham. He thrashed that in like he meant it. And Reguilon and Kane. We've played barely a quarter of an hour and Spurs are ripping it up. In by Cresswell, that's a good header. And West Ham do have a goal back with 8 minutes to play. Around Reguilon. Kufal. Oh, they have another one! It's an own goal and West Ham are within 1. Kane for Bale. Gareth Bale pulls it wide. Taken away by Winks. Lanzini! Oh, it's glorious! Sensational hits! Sensational! Take a point away with them. This was meant to be Bale's game. It was Kane's game. It was Son's game. It was Tottenham's game. Rip all of that up. It's Lanzini's game. Tottenham 3, West Ham 3.
Amazing game. Amazing commentary as well by Peter Drew. It was an absolute privilege to be in the commentary box alongside him. What a game. Didn't see it coming. 82 minutes, Tottenham in total control, and somehow West Ham came back.
Still stunned.
Still scratching our heads as to
I mean, how good were they in the first half? Tottenham, they were very, very good.
The first 20
Two
minutes,
players were world class.
Harry
Kane and Son. They can play for, I keep saying it, they can play for any team in the league, all over the world. Any club would welcome them two players. They are world class. And Jose just puts a solid base in behind them. We talked about not always playing the best players. Nice and solid in behind, and let's counter-attack on them. We've got Gareth Bale now. If we get him up to fitness, I mean, who knows where they could go.
Honestly, Harry Kane, in my opinion, was a 10 out of 10 performance, and he didn't even win the game. Everyone's talking about it. The Lanzini goal. Was it a foul in the build-up to the goal?
Snodgrass, who makes a run in behind here, is very, very cute. Nips in front there and just hits the floor. He come on 1 minute before, Matt. I mean, the game's nearly up. Snodgrass comes up because he's got this in the...
I'm going to play it slowly. Does he have a little kick out with his left leg there?
Possibly.
Slight. It's very soft, isn't it?
Very, very soft. As Cresswell comes onto the ball, I know that his delivery is very, very good. So now I am watching like this. I think he's going to cause problems with his delivery.
Yeah.
It was Harry Kane who gets on the end of it. Declan Rice just missed it. If you look at Declan, I think Declan's around here now. Here. He's trying to make that run across the front post area to get into there. And when he goes, he just misses it. And if you keep your eye on Declan, he puts his hands on his head. He thinks the chance is gone. But then there's a comedy of errors, unfortunately, for Tottenham.
We'll play it slowly then, shall we?
Watch Declan getting across the front part. He just misses his head on this, and Harry Kane heads it out.
Harry Kane heads it out. I mean, he did everything in the game, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'll ask you, Harry Winks here. What do you do?
Kick that ball as far up into the stand as I possibly could. He needs to boot this ball. Just kick it. Just get it away. I mean, there he is, Winks here. I think, what is he trying to do? He's trying to...
Well, if you look, every player bar the goalkeeper...
All you need to do is that.
Anywhere.
Into the stand. I can't even push it far enough out. I mean, the game is over. They would know the game is over because they're all asking a referee. We play. You say, how much is it? And he would have said, this is the last attack. 23
seconds on the clock when the ball hit the net. Left on the clock, should I say.
There, watch the block. We're going to highlight the block here. Watch the strike. Let's enjoy the strike.
Let's enjoy the strike. You'll see the block.
If we must.
But Winks, just clear it. You can see it. Even look, there's Fabianski up there. Yeah. He's the only player that wasn't in the picture.
Yeah.
There he is.
Watch him.
Just at the top.
Watch him here, Matt. Agbona. This, for me, is an assist. What he does here and gets his backside into Harry Winks and stops him blocking the Lanzini shot is a fantastic assist. And I'm giving credit to this man as well, the referee. How he evades the ball as well. I mean, gets himself out the way of it. A lot has to come in play. If we didn't play it now, watch the block from Agbona first and foremost. There.
So that's...
And it's just going away from Hugo Lloris and he can't get a long enough arm on it. This is where you see the referee's part in it. He has to move out the way. Yep, out they go.
Is this hit and hope?
Yeah, at this stage of the game.
Is this hit and hope, or is he aiming for that far corner?
He's cutting across the ball, so he knows if he strikes it and he gets it perfectly, he cuts across it and it bends away into the top corner. This is what Hugo Lloris is looking at.
And this is Lanzini's point of view. So this is from your Lanzini now. This is what you see. What are you aiming? Because the ball's coming across you. So how are you actually striking this ball then?
He's cutting it with the outside of his foot. He's like bending it away. I think Lanzini knows full well this is a crowded penalty area. And also he knows that because it's a crowded penalty area, Hugo Lloris cannot see anything. So he's going to see it very, very late. And what he does is cuts it away from him and it just keeps bending away.
That's the only space, though. That's the only place he can hit the ball to score.
Oh, he's hit the ball on target. He's not hit the ball to try and pick out that top corner. If he tells you he has, then he's lying.
Well, it was some strike anyway, wasn't it? Right.
Just always moving away from Lloris.
Goalkeeper?
Yeah, a lot of argue. I mean, people have said since the game he should have gone with his left hand because it stretches further than his right hand. I'm no goalkeeping expert. I think he would save a lot of goals with his right hand.
You're not a goalkeeping expert, but we do have one. We do have one, and Mark Schwarzer joins us now. Mark, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys.
Hugo Lloris, that third goal, could he have done better?
Could he have done better? Yeah, of course he could have saved it. Then you'd say he's done better. But you know what? He did tremendously well. The only thing I would say is he will be disappointed he didn't save it because he got such a good touch on it. He did everything right to get in the position that he was in. And as a goalkeeper, I know if I'd let that in, I'd be disappointed I didn't save it. I know that I don't think anyone would expect him to save it. But you'd be looking at it as a goalkeeper going, I got so close, I got a hand on it, I should have saved it.
And he's, in terms of his body weight as well, because we saw an angle where he was actually trying to peer around the players, and I'll just play it on. And his body weight seemed to be going away to the right-hand side before he eventually got there onto his left-hand side. It might be on the next angle, actually. This one here. So when it falls to Lanzini on the edge of the box, we'll try and pause it now. Yeah. Just take it back very slightly. It looks like he has to have a little look around the wall, Mark, the bodies in front of him, Mark. Does that hinder his chances of getting away to his left?
Slightly, but I mean, I think what he does really well is he actually just moves his head and he's sort of upper body a little bit. He's not moving his legs over. He hasn't got his entire body weight over to his right. So I think he does everything right in that aspect. And the reason he does everything right, he gets so close to making the save. He has to look for it. You need to see where it is. Unfortunately for him, the strike was just so good that it ends up, in that top corner. But, I've heard people say he's gone with the wrong hand. I don't know why people would even say that. For me, if the ball's lower, if it's, say, halfway up the goal, yes, of course, you've got to go with your left hand. But the minute it starts to go away from you and it starts to rise, physically you can't get it with your left hand. You have to go with your right hand. You actually reach further with your right hand at that height. So he does, in my opinion, he does everything right.
But Tim, we're just having a little go at that as well. We're trying to get our arms up in the air as well. Which one? And it is actually, I don't know. Which one goes high? I think my left.
There's a point though when you're in the air. So yes, if you're standing there and you're just reaching from one to the left-hand side, of course your left hand is going to go further. But the minute your body's at a certain angle in the air, it's physically impossible to lift your bottom hand, your left hand. Yeah. Say you're diving to your left, higher than the right. From that angle, he can't get his left hand higher than that point. It's physically impossible.
Yeah.
So the big disappointment really is once he's got to that point and he's got his fingers to it, that he then hasn't kept it out.
Absolutely. Listen, I mean, like I'm saying, I'll say it again. It's not his mistake at all. All I'm saying is I'd be disappointed I didn't save it because I got so close. I think I've done everything right to that point, other than I just didn't have enough to flick it over the crossbar. And I think you'd be feeling the same. You got so close to it and just didn't save it. And sometimes you've got to hold your hand up and go, yeah, it's a wonderful strike, but next time I'll get it.
Mark, when you get your hand on the ball, do you then, as a goalkeeper, do you move your fingers? Do you flick your fingers or your hand? Or, I mean, how does it actually work?
It really depends on at what part of your hand it actually touches, or, whether it's on the end of your fingers, whether it's in the palm of your hand. With the palm of your hand, obviously you've got a more solid and a wider sort of surface area to help the ball. And the ball would actually just, it would sort of ricochet off the palm of your hand a little bit. With your fingers, it's more that little action of trying to flick it over the crossbar. And I think that, in that instance, he tries that little flick. But as we know, I mean, we're talking split seconds from the time the ball hits his fingers to that movement of trying to flick it. So unfortunately, just because of the nature of the shot, how close he was to underneath the crossbar, there just wasn't enough angle on the ball to flick it over.
Great stuff. Thank you, Mark. I know you're going to join us a little bit later, but great analysis on that, and we'll speak to you a little bit later. Thank you, Mark. Let's just enjoy this strike one more time. It is some hit, isn't it? Goal of the weekend, huh?
Well, it's a goal of the weekend because it's the last kick of a game in a very important London derby with the Tottenham were cruising in the football match, and for them to come back 82 minutes, 3-0 down, for them to come back, they show real spirit and character.
What about this front three, though? Everyone's been talking about it. It didn't start, Gareth Bale. I think everyone was hoping that he might.
Yeah.
The 20 minutes we saw suggest that he's probably not fit enough to start the game just yet. He might well start in Europe, I would imagine, this week. But Kane, Bale and Son, it's pretty mouth-watering, isn't it?
Yeah, and you got Lucas Moura. You know, you got Lamela, who played at Old Trafford, was injured.
Bergwijn, who started this game.
Bergwijn started. You know, you've got loads of
Lo
options.
Celso.
So Lo Celso don't even get changed.
Dele Alli.
No, Dele Alli don't get changed. You've got Danny Rose, who hasn't even got a squad number. They've got a load of players in different areas of the field. Now it's Jose now, get that solid base.
Yeah.
That's what they haven't got at the moment. The Jose team, what wins championships, do not let a 3-goal lead slip at 82 minutes.
You've mentioned two world-class performances, these two, Kane and Son. Kane's intelligence in this match was incredible, I thought. He's already in the space now. We'll play it on. Look how deep he's coming to get involved in the play.
Yeah.
But he was, do you know what? West Ham had a back three. They had a holding midfield player in Declan Rice, and none of them could get close to him.
Yeah.
Every time I looked at Harry Kane, he was in space.
Yeah.
Every time in that 90 minutes, there was no one near him. No one could get close to him because they weren't sure who was supposed to be doing the job.
Yeah.
Was Ogbonna supposed to get tight with him? Was Cresswell going to get tight, Balbuena, or was Declan Rice going to do that job?
Yeah.
No one seemed to know who was going to get tight to Harry Kane.
One thing's for sure, Matt, if you stop Harry Kane at the moment, you stop Tottenham.
Yeah.
Because you stop the supply line into him. Because when the midfield players get the ball, if it's Sissoko, whether it's Ndombele, whether it's Højbjerg, he doesn't move. He only moves, Son, when Harry Kane gets the ball, because he knows he don't want to waste his energy. They haven't got that. That's why Harry Kane comes so deep and so predictable, because he thinks, I'm going to get the ball. I'm not going to make it a difficult pass for the midfield players. I'm going to make it a 5-yard pass, so you give it to me. Let's look at when this ball goes into Harry Kane, you watch him move, Son. Now, watch, he's off. He's off already. He knows he's getting in the back of him.
But what a sensational pass.
The weight of pass was great.
I mean, from there, you're still thinking he's got an awful lot to do to find Son, hasn't he?
Yeah.
What a pass. Age-old argument, show him inside, show him outside, what do you do?
I mean,
always showing the line.
You haven't even got to be a football expert now. You've got people watching at home now, they're all over the world, and they're saying, how can you show him inside? Because we told them so many times, keep him going down the line. It narrows the angle for the goalkeeper, gives him half a chance. As soon as you let him open up the goal, a player of Son's quality scoring 9 times out of 10 or 10 out of 10 times.
All-round game, Harry Kane.
Yeah.
You know, this is just before half-time. 3-0 up. Look at him. Sees Koufal making the run, thinks, I've got to get back, gets himself back into that position. Look who makes the block.
Yeah.
There he is. Harry Kane actually hurt himself in the process as well, didn't he? Now Gareth Bale's on. All three of them on the pitch now. This is what the Spurs fans and all of us actually watching have got to look forward to. Is this how we're going to see it? So Bale and Son, I say deeper. They will eventually make those runs behind Harry Kane. Harry Kane coming into this space again. Yeah. Even now, look at the space that Harry Kane's in. No one's locked onto him.
Yeah, he comes into these areas, Harry. So he comes into these areas. The defenders do not want to come with him. They don't want to come into here, and they don't want to follow. Don't want to follow into there.
Let me ask you why, though. Let me ask you why. And I ask that because Harry Kane's not going to spin you in behind.
No.
So he's not rapid, is he?
No. But I tell you why, because they don't want that in behind them, and they don't want that on that side in behind them.
Like
leave
Liverpool.
that big gate, because they've got pace.
But it's like Liverpool, isn't it? Firmino makes that run, Salah and Mane making the runs.
Absolutely. So what you need to do, if you're going to deal with Harry Kane, you need to get your midfield player, one of these guys here, to come deep and stop it at source in there, and then let the three deal with it coming in. But when you play this on, this is an indication. We highlight Gareth Bale here. Gareth Bale is not fit. A fit Gareth Bale scores here. This is not the one. I mean, it's when he breaks through.
This is just them, the three of them linking. But there's that run again over the top. Kane's coming short. Son in behind.
Yeah.
This is interesting because Bale and Son actually make the same run here. They both made this. So again, Harry Kane, no one tight to him.
Yeah.
Fantastic ball again, slightly overhit. But they both make the same run, Bale and Son. That's that. One coming short, two in behind.
Here we go.
This is the Bale chance.
Yeah, but just enjoy it. Watch Gareth Bale. This is not Gareth Bale 7 years ago. He's already put it in the net by now. Now he's had to do a little trick. He's done well. He was at the end of his energy. He's only just come onto the pitch. We know he's not fit. A fit Gareth, he's going to get fitter than this. Don't worry, but he's certainly miles off being fit and ready to start a football match.
Wasn't in the script, that, was it? Coming on at 3-0, it was, go on, enjoy yourself, 20 minutes, get 20 minutes in your legs. Had a chance to finish the game off as well. That wasn't in the script.
Yeah, because as soon as Harry comes and picks that ball up deep, he sees Gareth going. And normally he would have just run and eliminated Agbona with his pass, and Gareth Bale wouldn't have even had to take him on. He would have just been straight in at the goalkeeper, Fabianski, and he would have just slotted it in. They've got something to look forward to. He will get fitter.
Yeah, absolutely. Leroy, let's go upstairs to you. Well, what have you got? Any Tottenham fans get in touch?
Well, look, Matt, the Tottenham fans are delighted to see Gareth Bale, make his debut, but they're more delighted to see Tim on our show because they're throwing the questions at me. I've got this one from Kevin. He said, guys, last season we saw Mourinho play with a 4-2-3-1 formation. He's now playing a 4-3-3. What do you think is the reason behind it, and is it shipping more goals?
I don't think it's shipping more goals. I think it's shipping equally as many. I mean, he wasn't solid when he was playing a different formation last year. When you've got Kane, Son and Bale or Mora or Bergwijn, like we talked, or Lamela, you have to play three strikers. Everyone else in behind is going to be responsible. He's not going to play the best players. Lo Celso might not get a game. For me, he's one of the most improved players they've got at the back end of last season, but he might not play. They're going to go with Ndombele. Looks like he's found a little bit of responsibility for Jose now. Sissoko, we know he likes, and the boy at the new side in Højbjerg, who comes in there, I think is an upgrade. I think he can deal with the football. He gets on the half turn, he passes forward, but he's not going to open anyone up with his passing. But what they all do, they put shift in. They put a shift in front. We're not seeing the fullbacks marauding forward as much, even though Reguilon can get down the left-hand side. He's got a fantastic delivery for the Harry Kane header. But I think they're staying at home a lot more. We talked about it with Liverpool, with Trent Alexander-Arnold or Robertson. Will they stay intact? I think Jose likes his fullbacks to stay a little bit more intact. He likes it to be nice and solid in the three in the midfield, and he allows the front three to win him the game. And at the moment, that's what they're doing.
OK, just off the back of that, Tim, Wesley sent this question. He says, do you think Tottenham need to build the defensive side of their team? I think he means, do they need to get someone in?
Well, it's not always about getting someone in. I think it's about working with what you've got. You can't get anyone in now until January. I think that's what Jose has to earn his money. He's not sure about the centre-half partnership. He likes Eric Dyer. He was injured at the weekend. Looks like Alderweireld is not in favour.
Dyer and Sanchez look like he's...
Dyer and Sanchez, we talked about it. It's about the best partnership, not always about the best players. At the moment, I think he's still searching for the best partnership there at the centre of the defence.
OK. Leroy?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there was a lot of talk this weekend about the worst miss of the season. And there was one in that game, Tottenham against West Ham, 4-0, a couple of yards out. When I saw it, was it the worst miss of the season? For me, no. And I'll tell you why, because as a player, when the ball takes a deflection off the turf like this, it's only going up. And it was really hard to get it to head it down. I know it looks awful, but people are saying, is it the worst? I don't know if you agree, but when it takes that deflection off the turf, it is going at a rate of knots and it's only going up. It's almost impossible to get above that and head it down at that pace. So I don't think it's anywhere near the worst miss of the season. I don't know if you disagree, guys.
That's like Mark Schwarzer defending Lloris. That is a centre-forward defending 4-0 there, Leroy.
You never usually get in the box, you midfield players.
I don't think I'll miss one from that sort of distance. Did you miss a few from there? Or?
Never. But the point is that it's when it skips off the surface. People might not realise that when it skips off the surface and it just kind of seems to pick up pace. I think scientifically, it's been proven that it doesn't actually pick up pace. But when you're on the football pitch, it's really difficult to judge that sort of ball. I felt sorry for him. You?
If he'd have been 6'2" like you, Tim, he wouldn't have missed, would he?
No, it was rising. I think it was rising up there. No, I don't think it was the easy chance. I think the Gareth Bale chance was the easiest.
You're right, exactly.
OK, thanks, Leroy. We're back to you later. We are going to take a short break now. When we come back, we're looking at the game at the Etihad, Man City against Arsenal, which Pep came on top against Mikel Arteta. We'll be back very shortly. Welcome back to the analysis show. We've had loads of questions so far. Keep them coming in on Twitter. Use the hashtag PLFans. Right, off to the Etihad now, where Man City overcame Arsenal.
Manchester City's worst start for 10 years. Arsenal's best in 7. But will that bring a change to a league fixture that City have dominated since Pep's arrival? Here's Aguero, just delighted to be back playing again. Good ball in from him for Foden, good save. Sterling on the follow-up scores. And it's Manchester City that strike first. Raheem Sterling. A season of the inconsistent, inconceivable and downright incredible, but tonight Manchester City have produced a performance much more worthy of their name. It's finished Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0.
Just the one goal, but they were fairly dominant, I think, Man City, weren't they, against Arsenal?
Yeah, it's something what Pep likes. He likes the word control. They certainly were in control for the whole of the football match. If Arsenal would have got something out of them, they would have been very, very fortunate. Never given. They eliminated their threat. They eliminated the threat of Aubameyang because of Kyle Walker.
Yeah, a few surprises, because when we saw the team sheet, you know, you're thinking Cancelo, Walker will be their fullbacks, Ake, Ruben Dias as your centre-backs. Wasn't the case, though, was it? The shape of the team was a bit of a surprise, really.
It was, yeah. The biggest surprise was...
Kept that quiet, didn't they?
Aguero. They do their business very quiet. I love that about Manchester City. He will be... If you keep him fit, they've got a great chance. But defensively, I told you, there's no set way for Pep. It's all about the attack. It's all about keeping the ball. But he thought about this one. He just went for the man-for-man job. What Walker did on Aubameyang was incredible. And that is very, very good coaching.
Let's have a look at it then. Let's go straight to it. Showing you exactly what you mean. Because actually, I think this shot highlights it straight away, really, as the back three. So we've got Walker and Aubameyang highlighted. Yeah. This is Dias, this is Ake, and Cancelo high up the pitch. So that's the makeup of the team, back three. But this is you thought this was deliberate?
Deliberate, definitely deliberate. But what it allows them to do, Walker would give them the confidence to... I think it was a more of an aggressive press. From Man City. I thought they knew Arsenal would play out. They know that's the way Mikel Arteta wants to play, and they stayed really high. And Walker would say to him, he'll say in a dressing room, I've worked with this guy. I'm not going to get run by him. If we get in a foot race, and I will offer him a foot race, Aubameyang, he does not care who it is, I will beat him. I can run with aggression, I run with power, and I can continue to do it for as long as the game takes. And he backs himself.
Is this something
when you've got a player like that behind you, that gives you the confidence to go in there.
Is this something that we haven't really seen from Pep before, where he's perhaps worried about an opposition player as much as this? Because we haven't really seen Pep say, oh, well, man-to-man mark him, he's going to cause us a problem.
Or he would hate that, what you just said there, worried about the opposition.
Well, that's what I'm saying, worrying about the opposition. It's not something we see very often, but with Arsenal, Aubameyang is so key, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's so
massive. He's huge because they've got Pepe, perhaps. They've got Saka who can run. We're talking about pace because they want to play a counter-attacking game, but you need pace for that. And their main man for that is Aubameyang. Yeah. And when he gets eliminated, takes away all their threat.
Let's play it on. And show us exactly what you mean.
He's even giving him a head start. He's almost
He's saying race me.
He's race me. Have a race. And Aubameyang knows. After the first race, it's like continually getting on the starting line with Usain Bolt. When he keeps beating you, you know it's a waste of time. Keep racing him. He will keep racing you until the end.
See, now this is more interesting because it's almost a conventional back four, really, now, isn't it? So Cancelo's come into this position now. Here's Walker, Dias, Ake. So it's almost now a conventional back four. But he's always got his eye on that, Kyle Walker, thinking, he's mine, he's mine. As soon as he goes, I'm going as well.
But when because Kyle Walker possesses such great pace, he loves and enjoys telling the guys, I will beat him, guys, just leave him. He'd physically walk around the dressing room and say, leave the foot race to me. I will race Aubameyang. I will give him a head start. I mean, he's confident in his ability to defend him 1v1.
I mean, he's now in a right-back position, isn't he? And we're almost seeing Foden coming back into a
Yeah.
left wing back position, if you like.
That's responsible, very responsible of him. I think Nathan Ake's been a good signing. I think all of a sudden they have found the one they've been looking for is Ruben Diaz.
Because now that looks like Cancelo, Walker, Diaz, Ake, Foden. That's almost like a back three with your two wing backs now being Cancelo and Foden,
Yeah.
isn't it? So in the same game, he's changing his formation, and he's adapting it around Kyle Walker, really keeping his eye on Aubameyang.
Because he knows that is the main threat. And you've got Laporte to come back into this as well.
Yeah.
So it's looking good for Man City. And they've got options defensively. I think he can change it around. But I think the key ingredient to it is that man, Kyle Walker. When you've got that pace and that ability and that strength, and it will only help out England internationally as well.
Yeah.
He played on the right side for Gareth Southgate, didn't he, for England, right side of a three.
Yeah, that's right.
He's capable of doing that. I think he almost prefers that now than that marauding one going forward.
I was about to ask you that, because positioning-wise, sometimes I think when he plays in a full-back position, he gets high up the pitch and he gets in bad positions, if you like. At least from here, he's working, he can see everything in front of him.
Yeah, well, he likes... Carl's the sort of character, he loves to get forward. I mean, he loves the freedom of getting forward, but because he likes to show people how quick he is. He comes late, he comes out the clouds and he bursts past people, and he's got a decent delivery. It's not fantastic, but I believe now Pep's given another challenge. We'll have to race with the defenders and show everyone how quick you are going back the way, and he's willing to do that now. He's getting to an age where he knows he wants to get the most out of his career. If he starts dropping into a centre-back position or a right side of a free position, he could play for another 5 years at the top level.
Yeah.
He's that good an athlete.
Absolutely. Another thing that we noticed from this game as well was, it's nothing new really, because we know how good he is with his distribution, but Ederson. I mean, his ability to bypass the press at times, because Arsenal want to try and press them. They're saying, go on, we're going to really go and press high up the pitch.
We did talk about this last week, didn't we? We know Arsenal will press and drop over the top. Why? We asked why, didn't we, Matt? Why do teams press? Why do they try and play out? They play out for this, because they suck teams in like Arsenal there to play long. That pass there was a 70-yard pass, pinpointed straight. He's probably the one, take Kevin De Bruyne out of it, he's probably one of the best passers of the ball in their squad.
Yeah.
That one's not so great.
He probably gets away with that, a bit scuffy, wasn't it?
But they're in behind the first press. You're eliminating four Arsenal players straight away.
And all of a sudden they're in the opposition
attack
box.
up.
Yeah.
So what they're not doing, they're not risking the ball.
Yeah.
There's the press.
Oh, this is unbelievable, isn't it? I'll tell you what, we've got Mark Schwarzer with us. Mark, is he the best, do you think, in terms of distribution from goalkeepers?
Yeah, I think he is definitely in the Premier League. He's phenomenal with his feet. As you guys were talking there, he's not fussed at all getting the ball back. Actually, he wants it. He's calling for it. He's encouraging for it all the time. The positions that he takes up, his defenders know, his teammates know. He is another outlet all the time. We know that the minute Pep Guardiola arrived at the club, that was his number one priority, to change the goalkeeper. Claudio Bravo came in. I think the change was too quickly for the whole team. So Bravo got left aside a little bit because he was being exposed. Ederson's come in and the whole thing's changed. And interestingly, what's changed with Manchester City is that they're not just always playing out at the back like you're highlighting. They're not afraid now to knock the ball long. In that first season under Claudio Bravo, when Claudio Bravo was in goal, they overplayed at the back. And I don't know whether that was Pep Guardiola trying to really instill this new style of play, but at times they were making bad decisions. Whereas now, with Ederson, as you see, they're not afraid to turn teams around, play the long ball, but also they'll play out the back as often as they possibly can.
Yeah. How important is it now? How much importance do you think managers put on it in terms of the distribution? And because ultimately the most important thing is keeping the ball out the back of the net, isn't it?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm a different generation of a goalkeeper, but and it wasn't my strong point playing out of the back. But it's very much the modern game, isn't it? And it's so important. But ultimately, a goalkeeper is there also to keep the ball out of the back of the net. So it's that balance. It's finding a goalkeeper that has the ability to keep the ball out of the back of the net more times than not, but also is excellent with their feet. I mean, Ederson is in that sort of that level now, isn't he? He's that goalkeeper that I think, even if you compare obviously with Alisson because of the Brazilian connection, I think Ederson's all-round game in terms of, if you include his distribution with his feet and goalkeeping, is slightly better than Alisson. I think Alisson as a goalkeeper is probably technically slightly better than Ederson, but Ederson just wins it on the fact that he's so good with his feet.
Okay. One of the things I noticed watching the goals going this weekend was that from corners, a lot of teams didn't have anybody on the posts. I asked Tim about this a little bit earlier, and he said he would often leave it up to his goalkeeper to make that decision. Was it your decision to decide whether you had somebody on the post or not?
Yeah, more times than not, yes, definitely. The manager would ask you, do you want a man on the post? Which post do you want covered? See, I'm of the opinion that a lot of teams don't have men on the post these days is because goalkeepers don't come out as often. I think there's a lot of goalkeepers that actually stay on their line more times than not. I always felt when I would come out, if I had a man on my post, and generally it would be the far post, you have the man in the hole protecting that near post sort of flick on or run to the near post. And if the ball went long and I was coming out for it, I wanted that guy in that hole to drop back onto my near post. So I always felt a lot more secure when I knew I had teammates on the line protecting my goal a little bit. So I think the biggest difference is most goalkeepers don't come off their line very often.
Yeah.
Mark, do you shift your position knowing someone's looking after one part of your goal?
Absolutely, 100%. And I always felt I could be more aggressive when I had someone on my post. If the guy was on the near post in that hole, the minute it went over his head, he knew he dropped. So I felt like I could take more of an aggressive, more of an advanced position because of that.
Okay. Mark, I'm just going to go upstairs to Leroy, because I think, Leroy, you've got a theory on why teams now are defending corners without people on the post.
Yeah, absolutely, and Mark's absolutely right. It's a great point about, keepers don't come out as much. But the other reason is because they don't want centre forwards in around the 6-yard box on the second ball. And I've got an example of it from the game at Leeds last night. And you saw it was in the first 6 minutes of the game, the ball going in the box, winning the first one, and then getting out and clearing that space. So you leave people like Bamford offside. So that's my theory. But I do agree. I agree with you, Tim. I would always have someone on the post, because when I was brought up, certainly coaching, I had the Pomo position. We all know the Pomo position of maximum opportunity was always on the back post, and that's where the ball always goes in.
Yeah, and actually, we're going to show some of the goals now from this weekend. And the first one we're going to show, Leroy, is the Manchester United goal, Harry Maguire's goal against Newcastle. Yeah. If I play it on, we've got Mark with us as well. I'm going to pause it just about there. Take it back very slightly. And that position there, I'm looking at that thinking, the goalkeeper's covered his near post, so that's not a problem. The goalkeeper's, he can deal with that. He can deal with probably 3/4 of his goal, I would say, at this point. He can deal with anything inside of the goal, and he can deal up to about that point. But where he can't do anything about is this sort of position here. He can't do anything about that corner. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. I mean, Mark, are you seeing this, Mark, and the position of the goalkeeper here? And you said you would prefer somebody on the far post. I'm of the same opinion. I would always have somebody on the far post to protect for this very moment.
Yeah, because he's not just on the post per se, he's actually inside, isn't he? So he's actually covering more than just the post, as we say post. I also think the other angle of it is that the fact is that a lot of teams play zonal marking, either partial or full zonal marking.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You're exposed as a goalkeeper. Yes, the line is higher, but if that first ball there's contact on towards the goal and it goes to that area, it'll be in the back of the net. If you have a man on that far post, that doesn't go in. Yeah. That's cleared.
Okay. Yeah. Liverpool against Everton. Again, Liverpool, nobody on the post. Now, we're talking about, the ball goes over your head. Maybe Jordan Henderson drops onto this near post, yes?
Yeah, because the ball, if it's a long corner, say Jordan there and Robertson in this area, the ball goes over to the far post. It doesn't on this occasion, but if it does, then what we're saying is that Jordan Henderson then drops back and is the postman on the back post, and that gives Adrian a lot more chance.
I mean,
let's go.
It's slightly different, isn't it, that, OK, it's gone through the middle of the goal, but anything either side of the goalkeeper, he's not saving it anyway, is he? No. At least he's got a chance with it. Going there, but if it's in the corners, I just think that somebody on the far post, and if it goes over your head as Jordan Henderson now, Jordan Henderson probably should be on this post rather than disappearing there.
I think it was Gomez, wasn't it? It was Gomez on Adrian. I think he kept him in there, but Keane's heading that ball 5 yards out. We'd be interested to see what Mark thinks. I think the goalkeeper has to come and affect that.
Mark, what do you think on this one particularly?
the fact that they don't have anyone. See, again, when I was playing, because I wanted to come out and take crosses as often as I possibly could. If they put a player on me, I would have one of my own teammates between me and the player, and I'd get him to move him. So it'd be a bit of jostling for positioning, and as the guy would run up to take the corner, I would have him move him out of the way. So not using his hands, but using his body to shift him in a direction out of the way of where I want to run out to. So anywhere in front, so take him to the side a little bit. And it freed up space for me to make that decision and make that run. When you have those players in and around Adrian there, Adrian's mind is made up. He's not coming out. And it's almost like giving him a reason not to come out, because he can go, well, I couldn't come out, I've got someone there.
Yeah.
So that choice, that decision is already eliminated from his decision process.
He got so occupied, didn't he, with Gomez, though? I mean, his body position was ridiculously low, and he couldn't. I mean, I just thought it was a horrible. I'm not blaming him for the goal. I think it's a point-blank header. I don't think he can save it, but I think he can affect the corner. But Gomez being on him, you're quite right, has affected his thinking.
And this one here, this is Southampton at Chelsea. Now, Danny Ings, he's actually in a pretty good position, really, because if the ball comes over his head, you think he can just drop onto the line, no problem at all. But actually, look at what he does. Disappears completely. Okay, the goalkeeper gets across and he makes the save to his left-hand side, but if it flicks to the other corner, he's got absolutely no chance of saving it.
But why Danny comes out is to leave Pulisic in there and play him offside. Now, we know full well if Zuma's ball goes in a corner, then there's no offside. But if it was to come off of the goalkeeper, McCarthy, then Pulisic taps it in, Danny Ings has done a good job.
And this is what Leroy's laughing upstairs, because he knows that's exactly what you were saying, isn't it, Leroy?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's great. It's football, isn't it? No one's ever wrong, no one's ever right. It depends on the situation. And in that situation, Tim pointed out, he's been told to do that. But for me, I'd tell him to stay until the ball was cleared. And then move out. That's what we used to do. And seeing all the goals going in those places just is really frustrating for me, because I think it's just a really simple thing, man.
Yeah. Mark, do you anticipate it changing as the season goes on, or do you think this is the way forward now, that goalkeepers actually don't want anybody on their posts?
Well, no, I don't think it's necessarily the goalkeeper's call. I think it's the clear way that teams want to play these days. And like I said before, it's zonal marking. So the reason players move out, the teams are moving out, is because they're not picking up anyone. They're picking up a zone. And if the attackers find themselves in the space, which is what they're trying to do, the easiest way to defend it, rather than looking for an attacker to try and get to and get close to and mark, is to move your line further up and hope that he's called offside.
Yeah, brilliant, Mark. Thank you very much for joining us. Great analysis, and we'll speak to you soon. Up to Leroy. Leroy, what have you got for us?
Yeah, just off the back of the Man City analysis from the game of the weekend, Cape Town footballers said Kyle Walker and Cancelo smothered Aubameyang. Should Arsenal switch to a back four once Partey becomes a starter? Tim, what do you think?
I don't know about back four. I think they're defensively not bad. You know, you just have to find some more solutions going forward. I think Partey at the moment, I said it in the week, I think Mikel Arteta's evolving the way he wants to play. This is not how Mikel Arteta wants to play. Because if there was fans at the Emirates watching this at the moment, and I know that was away from home, they would not accept the way he's playing, because what he's doing is being very boring, very pragmatic, and he's allowing them to counter-attack. It's not really what the Arsenal fans want. It's not what Mikel Arteta wants. Partey's got a little bit more about him. He can take the ball, he can drive with it. You need to find a place in the team for him, because he's got a different dimension.
And just quickly, your opinion as well, because we did a little bit on it last week, but Aubameyang, out on the left or through the middle?
In the left. Out on the left, because he prefers that. He likes to receive the ball with the touchline on his backside, because he knows he can't get kicked there, and then he drifts. And also he loves to move without the ball. So he assesses it, play there, and he dives in between the defence, the centre-back and the full-backs. If someone's marking him, like Kyle Walker, it is his worst nightmare if they're as quick as him.
Leroy?
Well, talking about Aubameyang, I would say down the middle, Matt, but when you lose, don't smile, because Arsenal fans aren't going to be happy, because there's been a Twitter storm, you know, after the game, you just saw Aubameyang with his good friend Gundogan.
I hate this. I hate that. I hate it before the game. I hate it after the game. If we've lost a football match, I don't mind if my team are smiling when they've won. When they've just lost the game, why are you swapping shirts as well? Why are you swapping shirts out on the pitch? The whole world can see it. If you're going to do it in the dressing room.
I was about to say exactly that. The amount of managers that I had when they swap shirts after a defeat, you know, they're chasing after some of the big names in the Premier League, and you think, hang on a minute, we just lost the game.
But everybody's different, guys. Aubameyang's not that character. He wasn't like you. I wouldn't swap shirts, but there's lots of players I knew. After the game, it was just finished. And they said hello, and they had a smile. It took me a few days, but people are different.
But when you're a manager, and you've been a manager, Leroy, you don't forget about it after the game. You've got to take it into the next one. And you only get over it. You never get over it, but you only get over it-ish when you win the next when you win your next football match.
You're already thinking about the
otherwise
next one.
they're smiling all the way, and your manager's getting sacked, and he's out the door, and the players are still laughing and joking. It can't be right.
It's a long bus journey home, isn't it, when you got beat. More from you, Leroy, a little bit later on. We are going to take a short break now. When we come back, we're going to look at Aston Villa and analyse their performances so far. The only 100% record in the Premier League. We didn't think we'd be saying that after 4 games. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back to the Analysis Show. Keep your questions coming for us. Use the hashtag PLFans on Twitter. Off to the King Power now, where Aston Villa kept up their 100% record.
Two sides who find themselves near the top of the table. Midlands derby, East v West. And Villa pressing for a winner. Barkley to have a go and win it for Villa. The new Villa man with a stunning end to this contest. What a start to the season for Aston Villa. This is very much a team to take seriously. Aston Villa winning at Leicester by 1-0.
Yeah, and Ross Barkley in scintillating form, isn't he? He's really hit the ground running at Aston Villa.
Great capture.
I was actually really surprised that Chelsea let him go on loan.
Yeah, I think Ross, to be honest, he would have pushed it through. He needed to play football. Credit to the lad, he's not prepared just to sit there in London picking up his money. He wants to get out there and play. He sees the Euros in the summer. He still has designs on him making that England squad. I've got a lot of time for him wanting to play football. And look, we're not sending him off to some tin pot club.
No.
We're sending him off to a bigger club than Chelsea. I know the Chelsea fans will go mad now, but
says the ex-Aston Villa manager.
No, but the history of that football club, the size of the football club, tradition, that is a huge football club. And Ross Barkley has seen the end of Chelsea. He will not go back there. He will stay he knows how big that football club is. It's a club on the rise. They've got a lot of money, and he will stay there. That is his home now. You
said about the ambition about playing for England. Apparently that was Dean Smith's sales pitch to Ross Barkley. He said, I'll get you in the squad for the Euros next summer.
Absolutely, and hopefully you get in the squad playing with a guy next to him, Jack Grealish.
Why was it not happening for him at Chelsea? I feel as though there's probably a lot.
They're reliant on him.
I just
think they want Jack Grealish. He's taking the onus off of Jack now because everyone doubles up on Jack Grealish. They're finding him in a bit of space. We saw against Liverpool, he was outstanding. He can take off with a ball. He's got his own ability and his own character.
Yeah, I think in some of those clips there as well, it was noticeable that he wasn't making runs beyond the striker. He wasn't making those runs into the box where he's going to get himself goal-scoring opportunities. And I think that was quite noticeable in some of the clips that we saw there from in a Chelsea shirt. What about in an Aston Villa shirt? I think that's slightly different. I think he's playing a little bit higher up the pitch. He's been given a little bit more freedom to make those runs up alongside Ollie Watkins and perhaps beyond him at times as well. And I think he's combining brilliantly with Jack Grealish.
Well, good players play with good players. I mean, he's got players who know their jobs. I mean, look, he's looking for Jack all of the time. Where's Jack? Oh, I'll slide him in there. Jack, well, he knows Jack will give him it back. You know, they've got two very talented players. I mean, they're not the only two, but a lot of the other players, like Douglas Luiz, I think he's doing a brilliant job in front of the back players there at Aston Villa. But he now, I mean, why is he looking for Jack Grealish here? He knows Jack's the threat. I mean, there's so many other players to pass to there, but Jack knows he's going to find him.
Yeah.
He's enjoying playing with Jack Grealish. I think the two of them are really good foil for each other.
This is one of the clips that I was saying about making the runs forward into the box, because I don't think we saw this often enough in a Chelsea shirt. I'm saying, go on, all right, don't just stand there. You know, go and make a couple of those runs if you can.
Yeah, and he times it well. He knows Jack's not finished with it yet.
Here he goes.
As he drifts in, now he sees him.
There's the space.
Yeah, and he slides it into him eventually.
Yeah.
And he's unlucky. That's a very good block there from James.
This is the goal. I mean, the Leicester fans will probably say,
I like his preparation.
Chad should have done better.
Yeah, but I love his preparation here. I mean, he gets himself into this space. I mean, if we just go back just a tad, but he knows this is wide open space.
Yeah.
And he's almost thinking, when I get this ball, I know that Ollie Watkins, who is there, is going to take the defence back. He's going to take the line all the way back to here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have enough space to carry this ball, and I'm going to have a shot at goal, because we're only a couple of minutes from the end of the game.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what he does. His preparation here to find that little bit of space. He knows there's a good chance.
Now he's facing the play.
McGinn does brilliantly. He takes a big touch out of his feet and he thinks, I'm going to hit this. Nice and slippery on the floor. Great strike. Smashes it in. All to design. Ollie Watkins does brilliant for him. Takes them away up top. But at the moment, onwards and upwards for Aston Villa. 100% record. Fantastic.
Yeah. Let's go upstairs to Leroy. I'm sure the Aston Villa fans are getting in touch, Leroy.
You're absolutely right, Matt. I've got this one from Kevin. He said, Tim, as a manager, how would you rate the work Dean Smith is doing for the Villa?
I think he's doing brilliantly. He's doing brilliantly at the moment. I think last year, couldn't keep a clean sheet. Defensively, they're all over the place. They never had enough firepower to outscore the opposition because they were always conceding goals. They've recruited brilliantly. Martinez has been a fantastic signing, the goalkeeper. I think Konza and Mings have improved massively. Matty Cash at right back, Target left back. They've got a solid base in front, and we all talked about Ross Barkley. And the best signing they ever made was Jack Grealish for another 4 years. So and Ollie Watkins up top. So recruitment has been great, but the organisation and the work of that defence from Dean Smith and John Terry, whoever's involved there, has been very good.
Yeah, just on that point, Tim, you mentioned him briefly there, but Andrew Zarb says that how impressed have you been with Ezri Konsa at the heart of the Villa defence?
The most improved player. I mean, he was in, then he was out. They didn't know it was Courtney Horse who was playing there. They didn't know who to play there. Now they've said, you keep yourself fit. You two are the best partnership we've got. And Konsa's come on massively. For me, he's better than Mings.
Wow. Let's get to it then. Let's have a look at because I think actually that's one of the big improvements at Aston Villa is the defence.
Yeah.
I think, you know, everyone talks about Watkins and his hat-trick against Liverpool and Grealish, how good he is, and Barkley, what he's added to them. One of the things that's really tightened up is them at the back. It was interesting actually. I was listening to I can't remember, one of the players was saying Dean Smith gave him some homework during lockdown, sent clips to the players and said, how can we improve our defending? What can we do to get better? Some of the stuff we've seen this season, I think, has been absolutely brilliant. And Konsa was mentioned there, Konsa and Mings. This line here, you're not going to get much better line than that, are you, as a back four, straight away. And look how compact it is and how tight it is. Yeah. A midfield four. Look at that. I mean, it's so tight and congested, isn't it?
I think like last year, what they would have been, say, Matty Cash, he would have been out here. You know, he would have situated himself there, and there would have been wide open spaces in there, in between him. They're not doing that now.
Yeah.
They're allowing the team in possession to have the big switch. So if they want to switch the ball over here, they're allowing them, then they will shuffle across. I think the distances, the right word you used there was compact. I think it's brilliant because it's a midfield player. It's far easier to shield a tight four than it is to shield a spread out four. It's impossible to do.
Yeah, absolutely. The work rate of the team as well. And there's a couple of players I'd like to highlight as well who I think are important to this. Like Trezeguet, his work rate, I think, is, he gives licence to the others, you know, the Grealishes of this world, to maybe not do as much work defensively because he gets himself into a position. I also think Douglas Luiz, as a holding midfield player, has been absolutely brilliant.
Very responsible. He probably's got a point to prove. Still thinks he should probably be a sitting midfield player at Man City. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. The likes of Trezeguet, whoever it is, Jack Grealish is doing a shift on the other side. Yeah. They're the ones. So the Matty Cash can, the right back, and Target, the left back, can stay intact with their defence, and they allow them to get out to the wide players. And the wide player again doing his job. He's on the pitch now. Traore getting himself into this position. I just highlight, and this is Jack Grealish. Look, he's been given that licence. He's all right. He's making his way back. He's going to get himself into a bit of shape. But actually, do you know what? If we win the ball now in this tight tight formation that we're in, if we can get it to Jack Grealish, we've got a great chance of getting on the attack. I think what Jack does is puts himself in a position where if it becomes terminal, he knows he can get back in. Well, I think he actually in this clip he even gets himself back into a shape as well. Eventually, all right, they don't stop the cross, but there he is now. Look, Jack Grealish getting himself back into that shape. And if I pause it there. I mean, look at that now. How Aston Villa have got themselves into that tight
area there.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. You've got your goalkeeper and your centre forward.
Yeah. And last year, it would have been everyone.
Yeah.
But this year, they've got a threat. And the threat pins back the 2 players here.
Yeah.
It pins them back. It pins the 2 back, so they can't order. They've given themselves something to worry about. So if they smash that ball clear, they know Ollie Watkins. He saw him do it against Liverpool, holding the ball up, buying fouls, getting free kicks, or running in behind. He's capable of doing that. They never had that last year. Ollie Watkins has given them a different dimension.
Yeah. And they're putting their bodies on the line as well. You know, they're getting themselves into position, but they're also making blocks, making tackles.
Look how tight the defence is there now, still. Now they're moving up
getting
together.
that back four. I think this is brilliant. You mentioned Matty Cash and how good a player he's been for Aston Villa. This position now is so difficult. I'll highlight, this is Matty Cash. So what does he do? Does he go to the ball? Or does he worry about him? Does he just drop off?
Yeah.
What does he do? He makes a great decision. I'll play it slowly. Now he's got him. Now until he gets the shout.
Yeah.
Now he's got the shout. Ezri Konsa said to him, "I've got that man. You can go and confront him now." So that's exactly what he does. Now he goes to the ball. Okay, he's got himself into the box. But help comes from Douglas Luiz on the inside. It's brilliant, a brilliant decision from Matty Cash. Again, Jack Grealish now has got himself back in to that position. And again, look how compact they are again. Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Everybody in there is tight. They want to get the blocks in.
Yeah. McGinn, Douglas Luiz are fantastic at that. We know we talk about time and time again, when a player goes wide, do not let him inside. But they make sure they get on the inside of the defender. So if the attacker wants to move it inside and open up the goal, they're there. They're giving the support from the inside. McGinn and Douglas Luiz do that brilliantly.
How long can this run continue?
Oh, a long way to continue.
We've got Leeds on Friday. I think it's Southampton and Arsenal the next two after that.
Well, it has to come to an end, but everyone who plays Aston Villa now know they carry a threat going the opposite way. So they're always going to be attacked. They're not just sitting there trying to dig out points. They're not like that anymore. They've got better players than that. So they're very, very confident. Everyone they play against is going to have a tough game.
Yep, indeed. I can see Leroy's busy on his iPad. He must be getting a load of questions. Leroy?
Yeah, look, loads of questions. This one, it says, are Leicester struggling because Ndidi is injured, or is the Maddison absence more of an issue to him?
Oh, Vardy at the weekend, for sure. I mean, Iheanacho, for me, is not up to the quality of Jamie Vardy. I think Vardy opens up so much play for him because he stretches the opposition in there. And then when he stretches the defence back, he gives the opportunity for Jose Perez or Tielemans or Maddison, who looks like he probably played the next game because he come on for a little cameo, looked okay. They're all about getting the balls into their little number 10s. At the moment, that space is too condensed because they haven't got Vardy stretching the opposition the other way. And I think Iheanacho is not the answer. Slimani come on the other day. I mean, they're going backwards. It's not right at the moment.
No.
Got another one here from Henry. He says, do you guys think Chelsea's defensive issues run deeper than the shattered confidence of the world's most expensive keeper? And could the problem be more of a tactical one than that of the ability of the defenders?
Well, I think it's individual errors. A lot of it is individual errors, and a lot of them, unfortunately, are coming from Kurt Zouma. I think he does so much good work defensively, but he's either there or there. You know, it's too many mistakes. I think his clearances, his simple clearances out of the box, are so rash. You know, his headed clearances he heads him in the wrong direction sometimes. I think his decision making is very, very poor. Listen, Thiago Silva will surely come into that defence, and I think Christensen might be the better level-headed player to play with him.
Yeah, just very quickly, just staying with Chelsea, Timo Werner was outstanding at the weekend. I thought this goal was outstanding. And, you know, you pick him up here, just on the halfway line. Just at this point, I'm going to stop it here. He recognises that Vestergaard is out of contact with Bendoracker, his centre-half partner. He knows, he doesn't look again across the pitch. So when this ball comes into him, he hasn't looked again. That's why he lets it go, because he knows there's no cover. And then from here, you expect him to go down the line, but no, he cuts inside, opens up the angle of the goal, and finishes absolutely brilliantly. I just thought it was outstanding. And you look at it from his perspective, he hasn't got eyes in the back of his head, but he knows that's what the picture is behind him. That's why he lets it run. Now, Vestergaard does all he can by trying to show him that left-hand side, he doesn't, because he knows that if he goes wide left, the keeper will be happy with that. Cuts inside, sticks it in the back of the net. Look, outstanding goal, outstanding finish.
Brilliant. Thank you, Leroy. Tim, before we go, fixtures this weekend, which ones are you looking forward to?
United, Chelsea. Two teams who need a result. Man United on the back of a 4-1 victory away at Newcastle, very good. Chelsea, I think, need a result.
Yeah. Any others jumping out?
Champions League, so obviously.
That's it. That looks a good game as well. Saturday, early game. West Ham against Man City. West Ham are in, decent form.
Yeah, I've just got a feeling Man City will put a run together now and then let everyone try and catch them up. I think they're really there to put a run together.
And Liverpool without Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, see how they get on. They won't have to do too much defending in that game, so that might be okay from this weekend.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Thanks to Tim Sherwood, thanks to Leroy Rosenia upstairs, and also a big thank you to Mark Schwarzer, our goalkeeping expert, and of course a big thank you to you for watching. We will be back next week to analyse all that's happened in the Premier League. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.